Welcome back to Namaste Node.js. And now in this episode, I will show you how you can send email to the users. Okay, so we were building our Dev Tinder project, right? In this Dev Tinder project, suppose if somebody is sending you a connection request, right? So how can you send them email? So basically, I will just show you how you can basically send an email, right? Through Amazon SES. Okay, this is what the motive of this project is. So let me just show you how. First of all, we'll have to sign up for Amazon SES. It's known as Simple Email Service, right? AWS SES, right? If you'll go to Amazon SES, so it is Cloud Email Sending Service. Amazon Simple Email Service is what you say, right? This is what the service is. We will be using this and we will be learning how to send email to users. Okay, if I will click on sign into the console, okay, so over here I am into the console of my AWS account. Okay, and make sure you are in the Mumbai region. I am located in India, so I have selected this as Mumbai region over here, right? Okay, things are like this, right? Now, first thing, before you create a SES account or anything, you will have to go to IAM, right? IAM. This is basically, you have to create a IAM role, right? Basically, this gives you permission to different services inside AWS. Okay, whenever you are working with AWS, basically you give permission to a user. You create a new user, right? See, here we have 0 users, right? You need to create a user, and then why we are creating a user? Because that will be needed for SES. Okay, so first of all, go to IAM. Okay, on the top you can just search for IAM, right? You go over here, right? And you have to create a user. Okay, how do you create a user? I'll just go to users, create a new user on the top, right? If I create a new user, I can just create a new user. Maybe let's say SES, right? SES user or something, right? You can give the name whatever you wish to, right? Just make sure the name is in 64 characters. These are the letters and things allowed over here. Okay, so this is the SES user. Let me create next, right? Now I will have to basically, add user to group, copy permission, attach policy directly, right? You can do a lot of things. So I don't have a user group. So see, basically you can create, suppose if there is a very big team and multiple people wants access to AWS. So you can create different type of users, you can create different type of permission, you can create groups and a lot of other things you can do in AWS. We don't have to do all that complicated stuff. But for creating a user, I want to attach the policies directly. So I can just attach some policies directly. If I click on this, I can attach some policies. And now in these policies, I can give access to SES, right? So if you will see over here, Amazon SES, right? If you'll search for Amazon SES, here you will see for this user, what permissions I need to give. Should I give them full access? Should I give them read-only access? Should I give them SES service role policy? Okay, so I want full access to this user, right? Because I want to send emails, read emails, I can do whatever I want to with this user, right? This user can basically do. I have given the full user full SES full access. I'm clicking on next. Now once I've clicked on next, it just gives you a summary over here. If you want to add tag, so you can add a tag. I don't want to, and you can just click on create user. So it is now creating a user. A user has successfully been created. Okay, so now we have got a user with us. Once you have created a user and it already has a permission of SES, now I can go to AWS console back again and I can search for SES, right? Simple email service. So if I click on simple email service, I have to go to Amazon SES, right? This is my account dashboard. Now in this SES, I need to basically set up my SES account. I need to create an identity. Okay, I need to create an identity. How do you do that? Right, there might be some ways to do that over here. Yes, it is just showing me, see this, sending limits, right? It is saying that your Amazon SES account is in sandbox in Asia Pacific Mumbai region. Okay, view get setup page. Now let me go to get setup page. Over here I can set up, I can click on create identity, I can verify by domain name or email address. Okay, let me verify by domain name. We have a domain name devtinder.in, right? And you can just use a custom email name from, and a lot of things you can do. I am just skipping this up. Verifying your domain name, there are different ways to verify. Yes, so let me just verify by doing this DKIM, easy DKIM. To set up easy DKIM, you have to modify the DNS setting of your domain name. Okay, so I can just modify the DNS setting of my domain name. So I am just clicking on a signing key length. Okay, so I can just keep the length whatever you wish to. Let me just keep it 2048 bit. Okay, and then enabled, signature enabled, and create an identity. Let me just create this identity. If I click on create identity, okay, let me just click on create identity. It says verification pending. Okay, to verify ownership of this identity, DKIM must be configured in the DNS setting using CNAME records provided. Where are the CNAME records? Yes, so these are the 3 CNAME records that you have to set, right, in your DNS setting. So basically, see, now Amazon SES wants to verify that devtinder.in is my domain, right? That is when it will create an identity and it will give us access to send emails, right? I am the owner of that domain name, devtinder.in. I need to verify. That is why it is asking me to set up DNS records. Okay, let me just set up DNS records. So let me just log into my Cloudflare. Okay, so let me just log into my Cloudflare and go to the DNS settings. So now I am logged into my Cloudflare account. So here is my devtinder.in. Okay, so I will go to my DNS records, right? Over here I will create few more DNS records, right? These DNS records will be the same, right? Will be the same which AWS is asking us to set up. Okay, let me bring this over here. Let me just create. Okay, this is the name and this is the value. Add record. I want to create a CNAME record. The name is this and the value is this. Okay, and the value is this. Okay, this is what you need to create. And now when you save this, make sure that you turn off this proxy. Okay, because I don't want to proxy it through Cloudflare. Okay, so I turn off this proxy. Okay, it's DNS only. Now let me just create another CNAME record over here. So this is your CNAME record, this is the name, and this is the value. Sorry, second one, this is the value. I don't want to proxy it. Save, right? And similarly, let me create the third CNAME record over here. CNAME record name and the value is this. Clicked on it, save, right? So now I have set up the 3 DNS records on my Cloudflare. Okay, now what AWS will do, AWS will now verify whether the domain name is successfully configured or not, because see, I am the owner of the domain name. Only I can set these DNS records. Okay, so once I set these DNS records, it says that detection of these records may take up to 72 hours, right? It automatically detects. I am not sure how much time it is going to take, because this is a new account which I have created to show you actually live, right, to how to set up everything. This is the this is the unique thing that I do. I don't want to show you the existing things, that how I have done it, right, previously. Suppose I can just show you directly that, okay, this is my AWS account, this is how I have set up, and you will not learn a lot. When I am showing you live, I have created a new AWS account from scratch for you, and I'm showing you exactly right from zero how you can do it, right? And that is why I'm just saying, you see, it will take some time, and I will, now I will stop making this video. I will return back and continue making this video once it is completed. Okay, and I will also tell you how much time it took. But I want to show you everything right from scratch. Whatever I am doing in this video, this is all you have to do to make things work. Okay, so firstly, we will have to wait for a while to make sure that devtinder.in is our domain, right? AWS wants to verify, and we might have to wait over here. Okay, so I will return back in the video once this is verified. Okay, so please, you pause the video now and do till here and come back and watch the video from here once your identity is verified. Okay, so it's right now in pending state. So now our identity status is properly verified. It took like around 10 minutes for me. Now I've been waiting since 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, identity status was verified. Now you will see a verified tick mark over here, and over here you will see that the configuration was successful. Okay, so now this configuration was successful. Now let me go back to my get setup page and let me request the production access. See, right now I am on the sandbox. Okay, I can send emails through sandbox also, but it limits you things, right? So the best way I would recommend is to verify it by domain name, and then request for a production access. Once you request a production access, then you can increase your daily sending quota also, and there are a lot more, you will be able to use the full capabilities of SES, right? So please request the production access, right? You can just say why you want these emails type, what type of emails. I would say transactional, what is my website URL. Let me just give it DevTinder. Okay, I'm just showing you how to create a real application. Okay, this is nothing dummy or something. I'm just doing it like real, access, right? Whatever I'm showing you, this is a real actual process. Okay, I can give an email ID over here. I can say, okay, the email ID is support@namastedev.com. Okay, this is the, basically, see, this is an optional additional contact. Specify up to 4 additional addresses to include in communications from AWS about your request. Okay, so I can just choose this, and then I can acknowledge and I can submit my request, right? Successfully submitted the request for production access. It may take around 24 hours to review the details of your request. Okay, so I am just asking for production access, right? So this is the recommended way. But right now I am in a sandbox, I am in a sandbox zone. I can still send like 200 emails per 24-hour period, 1 email per second. It limits me up, right? But that is also okay. This will not stop our development. Okay, let's start developing things. Now let us just start writing code to send emails, right? For that we will need SES SDK, right? AWS SDK, and we will also need a secret key for the user that we created. Remember, we created an IAM user. So we will need, so go to IAM, let us get the credentials for it, right? Over there, the user that we created, we had this SES user, right? So let us go to security credentials over here, and over here in the security credentials, you will have to create an access key. Okay, if I have to create an access key, go to SES user, in the security credentials, here you will find access key, create access key, and over here you can just select other, right? Suppose, see, it asks you what is your use case. I'm just selecting other over here. You can select other use cases also, but select other, right? Because I want to use this from the code. You can give a tag value if you want to. Okay, so access from code or something, right? Maybe I don't know, just don't give any tag or something. Is it optional? Yes, this is optional. Create access key. Okay, and then okay, so this is the secret access key, right? Let me just copy this secret access key. Okay, and I have got this secret access key with me. Okay, so let me just go to DevTinder and put my secret access key, AWS secret, right? AWS SES, right? Amazon SES secret, AWS SES secret key into my variable over here, right? This is my secret key. This is my access key. So let me also copy this access key. So I am keeping AWS underscore access key, right? This is the access key which basically identifies you, right? Let me just save this. This is the access key. This is the SES secret key. right? So secret key, secret access key. Basically, you can say AWS secret key, not SES. Basically, this is for a user, right? So AWS secret key that you have got. Okay, now let us just start writing the code to send an email in our app. Okay, go and try to find out, AWS Node.js, AWS SES, sorry, AWS SES Node.js documentation. Okay, so if I search for the AWS documentation, it gives you the send email using Amazon SES documentation. Okay, so it gives you the send email documentation. And over here also we have to use this sending an email thing, right? So this is the sending an email documentation over here. Now, if you go, this is the code also, right? This is basically the code that you can use to basically send the email. It gives you full information. I want you all to basically go to this documentation. I will give you this link, right? I will give you this link also in the readme file. Let me just, let us also keep maintaining readme file. I was maintaining readme in the front end, right? In the front end project. Let me maintain it over here. Sending email through SES, and let me also write down what all things we do, right? Sending emails via SES, right? Let me write down notes also. So the first thing you have to do is create an IAM role, create a IAM user, right? Give access to Amazon SES full access, right? Read, write, full access, right? Whatever full access you can give, you have to give that access. Then you have to register, create an identity. Basically, create an identity in SES. Identity in your Amazon SES, okay? Make sure you are doing this as Amazon SES. You have to create an identity. And then over here, you have to verify your domain name. Verify your domain name, okay? Verify your domain name and also verify an email address. Verify an email address. Right? So basically, you can verify your domain name, you can verify an email address. Let me show you how do you verify an email address. I have already done that once, right? So let me just show you. Go to SES. So if I go to SES, over here, go to identities. So in my identities, you can create an identity, you can create a domain identity or an email ID identity, right? So when you create a domain identity, that means, let me explain you what it is, right? So domain identity means devtinder.in is my domain. I have proved it because I changed the DNS, right? So devtinder.in is my email ID. All the @devtinder.in is basically my email IDs because that domain name belongs to me. Similarly, suppose if you don't have a domain name, you can choose email address, right? So you can verify your email address. I can verify my email address, okay? So similarly, enter your email address over here. It will send you a link on that email address and you verify it, right? So this is what you do. And similarly, I have verified DevTinder. I have verified another email ID. This is my Gmail ID, right? This is a public Gmail ID I have, and this is the email ID I have verified. See, identity status verified for both of these. Now I can send email from any DevTinder account. Suppose if I create a email, if I want to send email from marketing@devtinder.in, or I want to send email from akshay@devtinder.in to akshaysaini@gmail.com, I can send it, right? Basically, these are the verified, because see, suppose if you have an email ID of simran@gmail.com, I cannot send email from simran@gmail.com, right? It will be an identity threat. So AWS verifies, first of all, the sender email IDs, right? So if the sender email ID, I can now send, using this account, I can now send email from devtinder.in as well as akshaysaini.in as well as my Gmail ID, right? So this is what over here you can see. Now let us just go and read the code over here, right? And this is what you can do. Read the code over here, and let me just, you can find that code on GitHub also, right? If you click over here, you can find the code on GitHub also. See, this is the code example, I guess, right? Is this the code example? SES send email. So see, let me tell you, SDK also, when you will search for SDK, you will see that, okay, see this. We have announced an upcoming end of support for SDK JavaScript v2. We recommend you to migrate to SDK for JavaScript v3. So basically, v2 SDK is getting deprecated at this point of time, and everybody will be moved to v3 documentation, right? So I want to show you the latest method, right? We will use the AWS v3, okay? V2 and V3 are a little different, right? But always make sure what you are using, otherwise you will get into bugs. I am repeating it again and again, okay? So what I am saying is I am using V3, okay? V3 documentation over here, SDK V3. So if you will go to V3, so whenever you are searching for something, some answers, if something is not working on the internet, always write I am using AWS SDK V3, because V2 is still very popular. Many companies, even in namastedev.com, our startup, in my startup, we are using V2. But in this lecture, I am teaching you V3. I am teaching you even better than what we use. Okay. So we will be using V3. Now, let's just go and see the sample code or something. If you see get started with Node.js. Okay. If I go to get started with Node.js, it asks you to see. This is the npm install AWS client S3, right? I don't have to do npm init or something, right? So let me just copy this. You basically have to install this client S3. So I don't have to install client S3. I have to install SES, right? S3 is different, SES is different, but the process will be like this, right? And then you basically do some configurations and use it. So I don't have to install S3. So I'm not taking this example. Okay, here are the code examples also, right? Let me go to the code example of Amazon SES. Do we have SES? SES, yes, here is the SES. So see, Amazon SES examples of SDK using JavaScript and V3. Remember, this is V3. Okay, now actions. There are different things you can do. I am concerned about send email, right? This is the send email. Okay, SDK for JavaScript V3. Okay, now over here, if you will see, they have given you a template and a code also, right? This is the code base. And if you will go to this link, see send email API reference, right? Or maybe I can go to, there is more on GitHub, find the complete example and learn how to set up and run AWS email example. Yes, let's go to this repository. So basically this is the GitHub repository and gives you the code example of V3. Okay, I will give you the link to this repository also, right? Don't you worry about that. So let me write it down in the notes itself, right? So after the notes, basically we have to install SDK, right? Install SDK and make sure AWS SDK, make sure you are on V3, okay? So, and this is the code example. So I am just writing the code example over here. Code example. Okay. This is the code example that we have. So this gives you an example code of sending an email. We will be using that, right? It makes our life easy. So if you go to SRC and you go to send email, yes, SES send email. So it gives you an example over here, right? This is how you send email, right? You can basically copy paste this code also. But see, this has a dependency of SES client. So this libs/SES client. So first of all, let's create a SES client. So don't worry if you are finding this complicated. I am just telling you. So first of all, we have to create an SES client. Okay. So in our code base, in our utils, okay, let's create it on utils. Okay. In the utils, let's create an send email kind of a thing. But first of all, I have to create a SES client. This is kind of a configuration that you need to do. Now to create an SES client, you can take example from over here, right? You have to basically do something like this. You have to basically import the SES client from AWS SDK client SES. Okay. Then you have to basically create an SES client. You have to create a new, object, right? Create an object of SES client constructor, something like that. Okay. We'll use this sample code, but before using this, first of all, let us install this package. This package is not there with us, right? So let's install this package. I can do npm I and then this package. Okay, so this will install the package into our code base. The package is installed. Now what we will do now is we have to import this from here. But remember, we are not using this imports in style in our project. Okay, so this code will not work. We have to use the require style. Remember, right, how we use require style? So basically you have to do something like this: const ses client and is equals to require. Okay, we are, right? If you are a Namaste Node.js student, you know it from the season 1. Why we write require and why do we write import and export, right? So, and we will export it in a different way. You remember, right? Module.exports, and then I will be exporting my SES client. Now, the region is US East 1. One thing that is not mentioned over here is you also need to give that access key over here, right? When you are creating a new client, SES client, basically you are doing a configuration. So you also have to give credentials over here, right? This is not there in the documentation also. And I have found this out, credentials. I have found this after a lot of pain, trust me, right? And over here, you have to give access key ID, right? You have to give access key ID, and access key ID is nothing but process.env dot access key ID. Where is it? Access, AWS access key. Okay. So AWS access key, right? And there will be a secret access key. And this secret access key is AWS secret access key, right? What is the name? Make sure the name is correct. Otherwise things won't work, right? AWS secret key. You have to be very careful while doing this, right? So now this is how you configure your SES client. Let me tell you one more thing. Again, I am repeating this because a lot of people will face this issue. Whenever I teach this also to students, they face a lot of issue with configuring AWS, SES, sending emails and all. I don't want you to create a pain, right? So, so that you don't get into pain. What I'm saying is, in this SES client, you have to pass these credentials, right? And if you are, and this is the way you pass in V3, okay? If you are using V3, if you are using V2, the configuration passed is like this, right? Basically, you used to pass the configurations like this, okay? So if you are thinking that I am telling you something wrong, or people who have already worked on AWS would know, in V2, you pass the access key and secret key like this. But in V3, you pass the access key and secret key inside your credentials object. Make sure you do this, right? So this is what you are doing. I have created my SES client now. Now I have to see the code for SES send email. Okay. So this SES send email code is here. Again, you have to do imports first of all. Let's create a send email file here, right? Send email. Okay. Send email.js. Cool. So over here, you have to import send email command. So again, I don't have to import here, right? Basically, I have to do require is equals to require, require, require. And this is how you require things up. Cool. And let me just quickly change this as well, right? Const SES client. And this will come from, my SES client will come from where? Right? It will come from my utils folder, right? So basically you have to do /, okay? So this SES client, over here we have exported this SES client. I am importing this SES client over here. Now let us just see this. This is a function create send email command. Okay, so this create send email command function takes 2 arguments, right? Takes 2 parameters, to address and from address, okay? And there are some more configurations. Let me copy it first and then I will just walk you through the code. Okay, so over here, create send email command, right? This is the, it is creating a new object for this send email command. It tells you the destination, right? Over here, you can pass the CC addresses. If you want to mark somebody as CC, you can mark it over here. And then whatever there will be to address, it will send the email to address. Then it requires a message. Then it requires the body of the message. Basically, what is the email that you want to send? This email you can send HTML, right? Over here you can send HTML, right? You can just send the email like this, h1 tag, right? And then you can send h1 tag, and then this is the email body. And you can also send in text format, right? This is the text format email, right? So basically you can send it in HTML format. You want to do some customization, you want to put some extra heading and title and all that other stuff, right? It will be a, you might have seen some crazy emails with some background color and all that stuff. You can do that all in this HTML. If you want to send plain text, this is the plain text of this HTML. Okay, and subject, you can write the email subject. You can write the subject as hello world from SES. Okay, you can write hello world from SES. Cool. And then the source is from address, reply to address, and all that other stuff. I don't want to change this. This is the object that we have created. Now comes the main portion, right? This is the actual code to run the email, right? This is the actual code to run the email. Listen to it very carefully. This is calling the same function that we created up on the top. Now run function, basically send email command, create send email. Now you have to over here pass in to address, and over here pass in from address. So suppose I want to pass in to address. Suppose this is my email, personal email ID. Okay, I want to send it to my personal email ID, gmail.com email ID, and the sender is akshay@devtinder.in, right? And I can, now again, you people would be, confused, and you people would be stuck at this point. Make sure whatever email IDs you are using should be verified in Amazon SES. It should have a verified identity. See, in Amazon SES, these identities, it should be verified over here. Otherwise, the emails won't go. Okay. In the, when you are doing that, these should be verified. Otherwise, the email will not go through Sandbox, right? If you are using Sandbox, email will not go. Okay. This is what I'm saying. Both should be verified. Again, I'm telling you. Cool. Now, basically, you are saying try return await SES client.send and then send email command, and you can catch some errors. If there are some errors, you can catch these errors also. Okay, this is our the extra code. This we don't want. There is some error, you can catch that error and you can export this run. Now, now we have done all this. Basically, we need a way to call this email, right? So let us write some code that I want to run this, right? Let us just test this, whether this is working or not, right? I want to run this function. When somebody sends an connection request, if I send a connection request, it should send me an email, right? This is what we have to build, isn't it? So let us just build it. So now, let's go over here to where in the routes, let's go to request. Yes. So over here we have the send connection request. See, this is the, this is the handler for send connection request. In the send connection request, I need to, first of all, let me import it, right? Let me get that send email function, right? Send email, right? This is what I need to get, right? Basically, I will get run over here, right? Or let me get send email, right? Let me get send email is equals to require, and then I will require from my ./utils/my send email. Okay. So I will require send email from send email. So when I require send email, this will give me an object, right? This will give me an object with run. Okay. I have to do module.exports. My bad. It will not work. Exports is equals to run. Okay. So if I will do like this, run. So if I will do like this, so it will give me over here send email, and now I can do send email dot run, right? So basically see connection request dot save. I have saved the connection request, everything works. Now I can do email, email response is equals to, I can just do send email, and I can do await also. See, make sure, see this is using a async function. See, this is a async function. So basically this will give you a promise. So I can just do email result await of, right? Await send email, and then send email dot run, right? Basically run is the function that we will call. And now I can also do a console log just to see if things are working fine, right? I can do a console log in my code over here, console.log, and I can do email res, right? Whatever the response I have got, I will just log the email, and then I will return the API, right? Basically this is like returning the response from the API. So whenever somebody is sending the sending a connection request, our email will be triggered, right? That is what we have written the code. Now fingers crossed, hope this code should work. Again, I am revising. First of all, we have created a SES client. Everything works well over here. I don't see a problem. Yes, this is the problem. This region that you have kept should be India region, right? See, over here, this is AP South 1. Make sure that the region that you write is the one Mumbai, right? That you are using AP South 1. So the region should be AP South 1, right? Mumbai region. This is AP means Asia Pacific, South, SOUTH, South 1. Okay. So this means that you are sending from this region. I have sent the email. This is fine. This is fine. Okay. I am verifying things. The code, send email, command, everything is fine. Cool. The email ID is fine. Okay. And if I go back to my SES client, okay, this works. This is also good. This is also good. Okay. Everything looks good to me. Cool. So if I go to request, I have written send email dot run. Where is it? Oh my God. I have lost it. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Yes. Email response, send email dot run. So now I will send email when somebody calls this API. Okay. So now everything looks good to me. Let me restart my server. npm run dev. Okay. If I run dev, it gives me an error. Is it? It says that module not found. Utils send email module not found. Okay. Because it is ... The path is wrong. ... Okay. Save it. Cool. The server is listening successfully at port 7777. Our backend is up. Our front end is up. Let me refresh the page. And now I am about to send, right? Connection request to Minnie Mouse. Okay. If I hit interested over here, and if it gives me error in the API, that means something breaks, right? Hope for the best. Fingers crossed. Interested. Cool. This works. Right? And let me go back over here. This also gives me a response. It says that HTTP status code is 200 and attempts 1, right? This is one attempt and our email is sent successfully, right? We have got 200 from the response from the AWS, right? That means we should have got an email on our inbox. Let us just check the receiver email. If I go to my Gmail, see this. I have got this email in my inbox. Do you see this? We have made SES send us an email, my dear friends. Hello world from SES. This is the email body, right? This is how you basically send it. And see, the email is coming from akshay@devtinder.in. Do you see this? Because we have verified the identity of DevTinder. Now I can send, you might have seen, a lot of emails that you get, the marketing emails that you get, or a lot of companies would send you emails. You will find the domain name to be like this. I am sending it through SES, but the domain name is mine, right? So I can send it from mail@devtinder.in, and a lot of other, you can send a lot of other things, right? So you can send it from whatever email you wish to, but having a domain name gives you a flexibility that you can send it from support@devtinder.in, mail@devtinder.in, info@devtinder.in. You can just send it from whatever email you wish to, right? So this is the email body that we have got. Now you can make this as, you can make this as dynamic also, right? How do you make this as dynamic? When you will say send email.run, right? Let us just change it, right? Send email.run. Over here you can pass some text also, right? You can pass some text or something. Suppose I can say this text also, right? So some dynamic text that, okay, somebody has sent you an email or something like that, right? And I can pass this as the text, and I can also go back and, I can pass the subject from here also. You can configure it whatever way you want to, right? That is what I'm saying, right? You can pass the subject also. The subject can be a new friend request. You got a new friend request, request request. You have got a new friend request from, and the request user first name, okay? So this is what you say, from this user. You have got the request from this user, right? And you can do a lot of things, right? This is the subject. You can customize it on your own. Little bit of JavaScript, you can do it yourself. And similarly in the run, I can take a subject, right? I can take a subject, and I can also take the mail body, right? So I can just take a subject and the mail body, and I can pass the same to create send email command also, right? I can just pass it over here, subject and body also over here, right? So that we can make our mail dynamic, and I can also send it here, right? See this. So I can also receive from here, subject and body, and I can send the subject as subject. Where is the subject? Here is the subject, okay? So I can send it dynamic. This is my subject, and my body is over here, right? So basically I can just add a string over here, and I can say body, okay? I can say body over here. I can add this. Cool. So cool. So now I have added this, right? Body over here. So body will come in the message text, and the subject will come like this, okay? Now suppose if I am sending a email, right? I am sending a connection request to Spider-Man, right? So if I click on interested, so I have sent an connection request over here. It gives me success. It gives me success over here. And if I go to my email, and if I go back to my inbox, refresh the page, right? I have not got the email yet. Is there some issue? Okay, it went to promotions, I guess. See, it did not come in my primary inbox. It went to promotions, right? It went to promotions, maybe because of, the subject or something. Gmail tagged as a promotion email. It did not go to my primary inbox. It went to promotion. If I click on it, it says a new friend request from Akshay, and Akshay is interested in Spider. Okay. So, you can send dynamic emails. You understood, right? What I'm saying. So this is how you basically send an email from your account. And let me take down few notes. This is the code examples. You have to set up SES client, and you have to make sure, right? Access credentials should be created on IAM, right? You have to create your credentials, right? IAM account, you have to create the credentials also, okay? You know, right, what I'm talking about? You have to go to SES and your IAM identity. If you go to IAM over here, why I'm telling you again and again? Because, I'm telling you again and again, still students will have doubt in these questions, right? I'm telling you, these are the things. SES user, security credentials, and you have to create the credentials from here, right? That credentials you have to put in env file, right? Make sure you are doing that. Access credentials should be created in IAM, right? IAM under security credentials tab. Let me write it down. Security credentials tab, and then you have to add the credentials to the env file. Okay, env file, and then you basically have to write code for SES. Write code for SES client. You have to create an SES client, right? Write code for SES client, and then you have to write code for sending email address, right? And then once you have sent the email address, just test it once. Once you have tested it, so after that, what you can do, make the email dynamic, right? By passing more params to the run function, right? Whatever function, you can customize it on your own, but you can make the email dynamic. Let me tell you, when you are on Sandbox, you need your email IDs to be verified. Your verify email address, right? Identity, right? Your identity should be verified. Again, I'm telling you, if your identity is not verified, your email will not go. Now, there can be a lot of other errors you can get, but if you follow this continuously for 99.99 people, it should work. It will work. Make sure you are on V3. Again, I'm telling you, make sure when you are creating a client, right? When you are creating a client, then you have to create it. Just a minute. Then you have to create the client like this, right? The credentials should be like this. Make sure the credentials is under this. In version 2, you did not need this extra object. These two things were not inside credentials. It was on the top level. But now they have moved inside credentials. These are small things you need to do. You need to fix, and everything should work well. Hope you liked it. We have seen how you can send an email address, right? You can send email to addresses. And this was amazing lesson, my dear friends. We have learned one more use of AWS. We have seen how do you create your IAM account roles, user roles. You have to create a new user. We have seen how you create a SES account. We have seen how you can configure it, manage it, and actually send an email in real world, right? I would suggest you to please, go ahead and get the production access over here. Once you get the production access, it will make your life very, very easy, right? Because, in the Sandbox environment, it gives you like 200 emails for 28 hours and a lot of other things. And, and over here, if you'll go to account dashboard, you can also see that, okay, how many emails have you sent, how many emails are remaining, what is the send quota used, and all the other stuff you can see on the dashboard. You can explore it, play with it, and do a lot of crazy stuff, right? This is all I wanted to teach you in this episode. Hope you would have enjoyed this episode, my dear friends. If you have enjoyed it, please give us a shout out on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, whatever social media you use. That means a lot to us. It helps me reach a lot of people, and please help me reach more people. Please talk about Namaste Node.js. Recommend it to your friends and family. Namaste Node.js, Namaste React, Namaste Front-End System Design. I have put my heart and soul into building things up, and I'm continuously putting efforts to bring more and more amazing courses for you all. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much to everyone who is sharing a word about us on social media. Thank you so much, my dear friends. See you in the next episode. And if you face any issues, because I think you might face some issues, if you face some issues, my dear friends, please ask help in the Discord community. And just not ask help other people also in Discord community who might face issues with this episode or some other code issues. Because if you will help others, you will also learn a lot. And it is not possible for me to help like thousands of students. We are a team of thousands of students. So please help each other. I think that, okay, thousand like-minded people in a single community can create wonders. Community is a very great place. Please join the Discord community of Namaste Node, right? And help others and seek help over there if you have some doubts. Okay, that's all in this video, my dear friends. See you in the next episode. Bye bye, and thanks for watching.